shake, now bounce, now pop, now drop, now twerk, now work, now come on.
Happy Friday, everybody. It's your host, Marlisa Stalling, and welcome to Only in the Shy. Y'all, you are here because this is the dopest platform where we celebrate, we spotlight, and we highlight masterpieces of Chicago. Basically, anybody that's from Chicago or around Chicago. Now, anytime we have a masterpiece that comes on the show, they do three things. They either talk about their passion, their purpose, or their transformed pain. Now, today, y'all, we got this amazing guest star about to come through. Now, she is the 5 Fs. Now, you may be wondering, she's fierce, and maybe she's flavorful, and she's a whole lot of fun. So let's go ahead and warm up the room, and let's give it up for none other than the amazing, extraordinaire, Sabrina Robbins. Let's give it up, y'all. Girl, thank you for being here.
No, thank you for having me.
Okay, so before we begin, we Only in the Shy, we're really big on making sure that we don't begin without checking on you. So Only in the Shy, we are never finna ask them to drop their whole life secrets without first checking on their heart. All right, girls, so we're finna play a game, sis. Ooh. So you are going to just toss this dice like up in the air, and whatever side your thumb lands on, that is what determines what activity we'll do. Okay? That's like the check-in. All right.
Gotcha.
So just throw it up in the air, and then whatever number it lands on. All right, well, we got 2.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, 2. So, this is actually a good one. Okay, I'm excited. So since, Captain America just came out, we're going to go on this little Marvel Land situation.
Okay.
So thinking about how you feel today or just in the season, which Marvel character best represents you?
Doctor Strange.
Why? Talk to me.
I love Doctor Strange because I'm on my spiritual journey and learning how to master calmness in a chaotic world. It's a challenge. It's a skill that God is taking me through right now. In this season, trying to master to be calm. Don't let people trigger me. Don't let the world trigger me. Don't trigger myself. So just mastering that calmness and stillness that God wants us to have. Right. So that's the season I'm in. Wow. It's also my favorite.
Dang, maybe you should be the host. Let me master my calmness. All right, so are you ready to go on this journey?
I am.
Okay. So we on the Shy, we always like to get in the guest star's business, okay? So the way we do that is we love to ask questions about their origin. We feel like the origin of a person is kind of like the preface of a chapter book. It lets us know the how and the why someone came into their being. So we would love to know, Miss Sabrina, who are you the daughter to, and where were you born and raised?
Okay, I'm the daughter of Miss Laverne Jones. I was raised in Chicago, Illinois. On the south side of Chicago most of my life, and just been here. Okay, period.
Just sad to let people know.
All my life. I'm just turned 30, so.
Come on, 30. Okay, what year? Are we like 1993?
1995. I'm the 5. I'm in the middle, but we still, we still claim the 90s, baby. Okay.
We'll claim. Okay, as long as we in the 90s.
That's right. But yeah, I just turned 30, and my 30s, I'm so excited for it.
So you just turned 30, I'm just curious. So what is different about being 30 compared to being in your 20s? Like, what difference do you notice?
My mindset. I don't allow things to bother me as much. I have a daughter, so I cannot afford to let people get to me or let myself get to me. Okay. I want to be at peace. I had a chaotic childhood. I had a chaotic 20s. I just turned 30. I'm like, you know what, Lord? Something got to change. Right. So just being at peace. I'm happy. I'm by myself. I don't have to worry about nobody, besides my child, but like just being at peace with yourself.
Right.
So
very priceless.
I love it. It's just thriving, being successful, What more can you ask?
I love it. So since you're talking about pieces, I feel like there are so many like amazing pieces to you, especially since I have the honor of knowing you personally. But since you're like tiered and you're so talented, let's like gear in one area. So I know that you do baking, right? So when did you know that baking was like no longer a hobby and that it was rather like a divine passion? Like when did you know that?
During the pandemic, actually. I was bored. I just started going into my master's program, and I was like, I need something to keep me occupied. Okay. Granted, I'm a mother. I just started graduate school and stuff like that. Right. But I'm like, you know what? I'm bored. I want to put this boredom to use. Okay. So once I did that, I started dibbling and dabbling in different desserts, mainly cupcakes because that's my specialty.
Okay.
But I started dibbling, dabbling, and it was just amazing. Like, I let my creativity flow. A lot of times I've hindered myself from going to do what I want to do in life, you know, because I was a teen mom. I had my daughter and stuff like that. I went through a lot in my life.
Yeah.
So just trying to put that energy and boredom and disappointment, shame into my craft. And ever since 2020, it's been up from there.
Wow. I thought it was like much like earlier. So
No.
that's insane.
Yeah, I see my love for passion for baking has always been through childhood, but I never took it serious. So I started in 2020 during the pandemic. We needed something to do, something to take our mind off what was going on in the world.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So would you say like this is a like self-led passion, or would you say this is like a God like appointed passion?
At first it started as a self. And then as my journey continued, I just know that God wanted me to do this. And the area, my specialty that I want to expand to, God was like, yeah, this is your passion. This your lane. So, hey, I'm going to
Okay. Now, looking at you, Queen, you're very beautiful, okay? It's giving beauty inside and out.
Thank you.
So speaking of beauty, when I was younger, I used to get like my eyebrows done. And I had this eyebrow tech. And she will always say after she's done, "Hunty, beauty is pain." And I would be looking at her like, "Mademoiselle, I know nothing of what you're saying." But it always stuck with me. So thinking about your journey, what like labor pains did you have to go through as you were becoming this pastry chef and this baker?
A lot of no's. A lot of people turning me down. A lot of people naysayers, I should say. Lack of confidence. Those were the pains I've had to go through. Like, you're a mom, you got to worry about that. You know, don't worry about what you're passionate about or what you think. It's just a phase. People would tell me that. So I had a lot of people in my ear not supporting me like I thought they should support me.
Right, exactly.
And then once I allowed God to take the reins of it, it was just there. It was just like, I can't think about what everybody else is saying to me. This is what God, this was a Zoom call between me and God. This is not outsiders' dream. So once I did that, those pains turned into joy instantly. It was just like I found my creativity. I found my spark. And it was just like, yeah, this is my muse. Like, I got this. And I just love the creativity that I put into my desserts. Because I like fashion, I like to take that and incorporate it into my baking. I love taking traditional desserts and making it very out of the box. I don't like to be placed in the box anyway, but I just love doing stuff that people say I can't do.
Was there an element of the no's that surprised you? Like, what I mean by it is, what did you get more no's from people that was closest to you and you thought you would get that farther away? Like, what was the element that surprised you about these no's that you were getting?
It was the lack of support from people who I thought should be supporting me. It really hurt my feelings, I'll be honest. It hurt my feelings.
We ain't no rats.
It hurt my feelings from hearing, like, you know, or weren't supporting me. I always got support from strangers. So it was just like, you know, I was new to the business. I was like, everybody else support me and you're not supporting me. So that, you know, that made me grind harder. Like, you know what? I got to prove something to myself. Like, I can do this, you know?
Yeah.
But my biggest support is my daughter. My daughter, she's like, you know.
Daughter, shout out. Okay.
Yeah,
you the famous one. Period.
Okay, she would taste my dessert. You could do this, mommy. And, you know, and my daughter's biggest thing that always stuck with me since my daughter's about to be 12. God got me. My daughter's from day one. Wow. My daughter is heavily in her spiritual faith since a child. My daughter would pray over me. And it was just like, where you get this from? Because I'm 30 learning how to pray, you know, but my child is like, no, God got you. And she would pray over me. She would anoint me. She would do like the healing touch on me. And it's just like, what? This little girl, what does come from? So I turned that and like, my daughter believes in me. So Sabrina, you have to believe in yourself.
So it's like he sent you like your own spiritual, like your own like guardian angel as one of your biggest joys that uplifted your passion.
Yes, ma'am. And I just thank God for her. Like she's my heart. Like I'm so protective of her. I wish somebody was that protective of me.
Absolutely.
Growing up, but I love her. She's She's like everything. I don't want to get too emotional about it, but I love her.
Girl, baby, I'm one of them cry. Let's go ahead and cry together. I'll cry with you. I'm a big teddy bear.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm thinking about like your daughter. So it seems like your daughter is the biggest flavor of your life. You know, we were just, really trying to give the aesthetic of baking on this episode. So we're gonna play this game called Flavor That Cupcake. So I'm gonna give you like an experience. So metaphorically, the experience is the cupcake. Then you are going to think of a flavor that matches it. So, for example, if I said it's giving friendship, you might say, well, how about we have like a lemon zest strawberry infused cupcake because it's sweet, but then at the same time, like there's layers of flavor that your friends give you. Kind of like one of those situations.
Gotcha.
Okay. Now, even though Black History Month was last month, baby, we are 365, black all day, every day. So let's think about Black culture. What kind of flavor of a cupcake, like, would you, Sabrina the baker, like, create? What flavor?
German chocolate. It has different layers and flavors and textures, and we're sweet. You know, we have that sweet partness of us. We chocolate. We come in different shades. I love it. It's just the softness of the cupcake. You know, as a people, we tend to be looked at as hostile, but at heart, we're soft, we're loving, we're caring. We come in different shades of black. You know, and I love making it.
I'm so glad you touched on that because I was like, where's she going with this? Because a lot of people think Black people are like so tough, so strong, and I love how you said like, no, like we're actually very, very soft people.
We are.
Okay, so you just got into this relationship with your boo thing, and baby, your boo thing giving you all like the butterflies inside, making you feel good inside and out. What would be the flavor? Like, what cupcake flavor would you make with this? Think good. Simmer on it. Inside said, butterflies inside and out. If you know, you know. Okay.
Oh.
Right.
Strawberry.
Strawberry like shortcake, strawberry cheesecake.
Strawberry cheesecake, because I love cheesecake, and cheesecake has that kind of weird taste. Like you don't know what you're gonna get, but it's still that sweetness of a strawberry. So it has its up and downs. When you mix it together, it's the perfect combination. So a strawberry cheesecake. I think that's
okay. Strawberry cheesecake. Okay. Now I'm gonna flip it. So you mentioned earlier that you were working on your spirituality, like especially like in the way that this world is going. So let's think about like the current like political climate of this whole DEI situation, if you will, and just a lot of people trying to come from people of color, Black people, indigenous communities. What flavor of a cupcake would you say reflects the climate of the world right now?
Lemon for sure. Tart, bitter. And it doesn't have to be, but that's how I see the world right now. It's just bitterness and tart and just a bad taste in your mouth. You know, lemon can have that moment where it's, ooh, but I feel like it's just sour. We're in a climate that everything is just so negative and sour, and it's just like, I don't want that. I want something sweet. Like, don't get me wrong, but everything's not gonna be peachy cream all the time. But every day, come on now. So like, lemon for sure.
Okay, lemon for sure. Okay, last one. Since we we already talking about God, we're unashamed in loving God. Okay, so God being your joy that allows you to uplift the passions that you have, what flavor would you say represents God?
Ooh.
Yes.
Gotta.
Let it be deep.
Yeah, I gotta.
In the spirit. You can, I mean, I feel like with God, like it should be like a triple, a quad flavor. Because I feel like he can't just be one. But that's my opinion, though. That's just my opinion.
Wow. That is interesting. That is an interesting. God.
You can infuse different flavors, or you're the Sabrina, so you can make up the flavor.
I feel like he's everything. He's like a marble mixture. I love making.
Marble, explain what's that?
Like different flavors. Just I don't feel like we should limit him to one thing. Like it's not one way to worship God. It's not one way to connect to God. So I feel like we can mix all these different flavors, and it's like a marble type cupcake. Ooh. I would say like vanilla, chocolate. Like that's how the world is. It's not just one race.
That's
real.
It's
not one group of people. Like
exactly.
So all walks of life. So
Yeah.
God is infinite. Like he's
Everywhere.
He's everywhere.
In
It's not
spirit,
just
in
one.
flesh.
I don't feel like he's just one flavor. He's just
Absolutely.
a mixture of everything.
I love that. Marvel. Okay,
Yeah.
you hear us, God? You know everything's so great to you. Okay, she said you ain't one flavor, baby. You everything.
Everything.
Okay, so speaking about you knowing flavors, I feel like you as a baker, you know very well about time, right? Mm-hmm. So you know that if something is kept too long in the oven, like it'll be burnt, or if something is like too short, then it might be undercooked. So thinking about your like journey, when did you know it was time to move from the passion of baking to then turning it into an actual pastry business? Like, how did you know the timing of that switch? Because we can stay in a passion pursuit, and that's beautiful. Do not get me wrong.
Right.
But how did you personally know? Nah, I need to change. This is the time. I need to make this an actual business and start this company.
When I was halfway in my master's program, I have a master's in counseling. So when I was going through that journey, it was like, yeah, let's do this as a business. Because my passion, of course, is baking, but my other passion is counseling. So God was like, yeah, to reach people, you're going to reach people through baking. So that's when I was like, yeah, we're going to turn this into a business. You know, everybody like, you know, everything's not about money with me, honestly. It's more about the creativity and how I make my customers feel with my desserts.
Right.
So that's when I knew it was like, yeah, let's turn this into a business. I love when people leave reviews like, Sabrina, that's the best dessert you had. Da, 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 da. That makes me feel so good. Rather than just, oh, let's make it money. That's not my passion. I want to make my customers feel good with my desserts, the different taste buds, and not to limit myself and stuff like that. I love reaching out to different people, different cultures, and trying their desserts and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make that, you know, and to get their approval, like, you know, not to pat myself on the back, but yeah.
Give us an example of that. Like, what is, I guess, a different culture or like of ethnicity that like gave you like that compliment that they enjoyed it?
I have a lot of, my mom knows a lot of Filipino people, her job and stuff like that. So for them to be like, yeah, I love your desserts and stuff like that. I've made flan before. That's a Hispanic dish and stuff like that. My daughter's half Hispanic as well. So that as well. I make palmiers. It's like a European dish. It's like a European cookie.
Do y'all hear these terms? I'm gonna interrupt. Do we hear the level? Okay, this is not amateur. Okay, this is giving experience. Okay.
Yeah, it's called like pig ears, but it's like a soft pastry type cookie, and I love making it. It's like I make it with ice cream. Make my own ice cream too. So. Yeah, like I love just trying. I want to travel to different countries and be like, oh, I know how to. Oh, I want to taste that and be like, oh, I'm gonna go home and make that. I want to appeal to everyone. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my goal. Like I feel like as a people, we have our culture and our desserts and stuff like that. But I love thinking outside of the box. There we go. I don't want to be put in a box. So I'm like, yeah, we're going to try everything. You know, I'm a type of person, I know I can't do everything, but I'm like,
if I can reach it,
I'm going to do it.
Right. Why you sit here and be like, well, let me go the basic route, strawberry, vanilla, then like, do it again.
Be making up flavors and stuff. Like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to trial and error, you know?
Right.
So.
Okay, Food Network, okay? Listen, I'll be your manager for free. You heard it, okay? Put a black woman on there, okay? She's trying to travel, okay? Taste different pastries and then infuse it with the Sabrina style.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so since you are talking about like ingredients and trying different flavors, I feel like baking is like a community sport. I feel like no matter what race or what ethnicity you are, it only has thrived because people have literally like passed down like recipes, right? So thinking about you in this current moment, what recipe of life would you pass down to future pastry chefs and bakers like yourself?
Follow your heart. No matter what you do in life as a baker, if that's what God placed on your heart to do, do it. You know, don't be that type of person like, oh, I wish I shoulda, coulda, you know. Right. So follow your heart. If your heart is telling you, hey, this is where I'm supposed to be at as a baker, as a pastry, do it. You want to go back to school and do pastry chef? Go ahead, do it. That's, you know, because God placed that on your heart for a reason. It's not just there. It's not just by coincidence. You know, I do believe in coincidence, but keep happening. Like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? Like, follow your heart. That's just, I wish I would have did that sooner. But, you know, you got to go through things to find where you are in life. So just follow your passion, follow your heart. Yeah. You know, listen to God. Always keep God first when you're having a business in general. But listening to God and like, okay, should I do this? You know, instead of listening to people, because people could let you down. God ain't gonna let you down. He gonna tell you straight up, you know what I'm saying?
Period.
Me and God have those conversations like, all right, now Sabrina, you tripping. Like, you can't do this. Or like, you know, Sabrina, this is where I want you to be. This is your calling. So listen to God. Listen to that inner voice.
Mm-hmm. Who is, I'm just curious, like, who's that person that has passed down recipes unto you that has positively influenced or like just help encourage you to be this person? Like, I mean, of course, gotta shout out Daughter again. Okay, listen, Daughter the real MVP. Okay, 12 going on 22.
Okay,
but who is another like person, or is it just her? Because if it's just her, we're gonna give credit to her.
My aunt. My aunt is a baker, and I love watching her. She makes the best cakes, pound cakes. I watch her make cakes and cookies and stuff like that growing up. And it was just like, ooh, I want to do that, you know, and stuff like that. She would like let me, like, okay, once she's done baking, here you can lick the spoon. I was like, oh, as a kid, I'm like, oh, I like that. But I just love watching her bake. You know, and that sparked my interest. And then as I got older as a teenager, I would watch Cake Boss and Sugar Rush with my mom and my daughter, and I was like, I can do that, especially as a Black woman. What? You know what I'm saying? So, like, because we're not as advertised, you know.
We are not. Especially in the baking world.
In the baking world.
It's like real, like,
very microscopic.
My gosh.
So, I watched those shows, and I was like, ooh, I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, ooh. And then in 2020, it was like, yeah, I'm about to start doing that. Just one day I went to the store. I was like, yeah, I'm going to try that. And it was up from there. So, yeah, but my aunt, I love her dearly. Just watching her bake, and still to this day, she still bakes. And I'm like, I recently just baked her a bourbon pecan pie.
That has to be hard. Your aunt, like, bakes. Like, are you nervous when you bake something for her?
When I first started, like, she would give me the honest truth. I'm like, tell me the truth. Don't, you know, like, don't let me, she would tell me if it's not good or whatever. Yeah. But I recently just made her bourbon pecan pie. And when
my birthday's in December, sorry.
I got you. She raved about it, and she was like, niece, this is you. You did it. I was like, I got to go for my auntie.
Got the blessing.
Okay. I was like, well, I got my aunt's blessing. Oh, you know I got, she could tell you, like, okay, niece, this ain't it. She was like, niece, this is it. I was like, dang. You know? But my aunt is a big role in my life why I started baking.
Wow. That's so sweet. And like to know, I'm just still stuck on the fact, I really thought you were going to say like 2016, like early when I said like, when did this like move from like a hobby to passion? So the fact that this has only been we haven't even been in 2025 for that long. So like just like 4 years and like 3 months.
Yeah. It's just, and a lot of it's self-taught. Like people are like, you go to pastry school? No, I just, literally, I'm gonna be honest with you. Pinterest, YouTube. Oh, I watch it once. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go make that. So it's less self-taught. Like I was like, in the near future, maybe I'll go to pastry school for it and stuff like that. But like,
God doesn't tell me I need to go, then I don't really.
But you know, self-taught. But I just watching people, and you know, in our families as Black households, we watch our aunts and grandmothers and, you know, bake and cook and stuff like that. But I just took real interest into baking, you know. It's like, oh, I want to do this. I want to make creativity. I'm like, oh, I can do this. Like, literally, my mind never stops at night. Like, ooh, I could do this. Like, one of my favorite desserts that I've ever made is a cheesecake taco. And I was like,
wait, what?
I love tacos. So that's a fun fact about me. That's my favorite food. So literally, it's a tortilla shell, battered in graham cracker crust and sugar. Then I make a cream cheese filling. So you mold it into a, shell. And then you put the cream cheese filling inside. And then I'll add strawberry toppings or apple toppings. Ooh. Let me tell you something. That type of creativity. I'm like, ooh, I want to infuse different foods and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Oh, you're well on your way. Okay, so it seems already okay that you're like making a blueprint, if you will, so young. So like, let's imagine that there is a Sabrina Start Kit, all right? So there's a Sabrina Starter Kit because people want to learn how to be this amazing like pastry chef and baker like you. What would you say are like the Sabrina must-haves? Like they're in the kitchen, they want to start baking. List some of like the Sabrina's like must-have. So we're in the kitchen right now. Like what should they like have? What's the situation like?
One, have a stand mixer or a mixer.
That's
you know, you can have the bowl, the standard, but you aren't gonna get tired, okay? You know, you want to keep, that's a workout. I'm telling you, baking is a workout. So that's one. A stand mixer would definitely help.
Okay.
You have your spatula, your measuring cup. You know, Black people, we got that bad. We just like to pour.
I was about to say, you know, we a little melanated.
You know,
now we see people don't measure around here.
You know, sometimes I don't measure.
Right.
But
I feel like that's when you know you.
Yeah,
that's when you don't
actually-
measure.
yeah.
I will admit, I'm a measure girl. Okay, 1/4 you said. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now I just be pouring to the ancestors say stop. Okay. But for sure, measuring cups.
Okay.
What else? Your ingredients. What else? You can't make anything if you don't have the ingredients. So like your flour, your baking soda, your baking powder, your salt, your vanilla. We love different extracts. I like dibbling down with different extracts. I don't just like using vanilla.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't need vanilla, but you know.
So it's like vanilla in like most of all your cupcakes.
Yes, for sure. Unless like I'm making a rum cake, you
Right.
use rum. Unless I'm making something with banana, you're gonna use banana.
Yeah.
Almond. I use vanilla and almond most of the times.
Really?
To get that almondy flavor. Yeah.
Never heard
So,
that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got your ingredients, you got your stand mixer, you got your utensils, you got your measuring cups.
We putting like music up in this, or you one of those people like you gotta like see a favorite picture in front of you to be in the zone. You know?
Yeah, when you're first learning, I would definitely that's your best friend.
Okay.
But my best friend is Pinterest. So like I would just pull up the recipe, I'll watch the YouTube video of it, and I'm like, okay, and then I'll just turn it off and then again. But some people like to do it as they go. But have a guide for sure. Or you can have your recipes. If your grandmother has passed it down to you, or your mom, your aunt, have that in front of you and have at it. I love to play music while I'm baking. It helps me stay in the zone or whatever. So I listen to different types of music while I'm baking.
Give us a tune. So like if we, I'm trying to get that, chef, baker like Sabrina. So like my hand is on a radio, on a playlist. What's about to come on?
I love Afro beats. I love Afro beats music. I love every type of music though. But lately it's Afro beats. I love jazz. Of course hip hop, R&B, and stuff like that. But like Afro beats it gets me in the zone.
Listen, okay.
Yeah, so I put on some Burna Boy. Like, hey, like okay, well sometimes I gotta stop myself. But okay, Sabrina, focus.
You got a DeVito if.
Yes.
I'm playing that song in my wedding for the reception. Yes! Like it's such an old song, but the beat.
Yo, the beat is I love
fire.
it.
If you don't know that song, please listen to DeVito if, okay? Send me my residuals, bro. I'm literally putting people on your music. Nice.
But yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So it's like make sure you have all your ingredients. So it's hearing like a little preparation, have a little tune, you know what I'm saying? Kind of keep that upbeat. Have like a referral, like while you're cooking, whether it's the Pinterest or whether it's like the YouTube, and then like the Sabrina signature, you gotta have almond and vanilla by you to give it like that kick.
Yeah, because you want to, have trial errors like, ooh, that tastes good, and no, that tastes good. But my thing is, I like to have other people taste it because sometimes, because I have allergies and stuff, I can't taste certain things, so I have other people taste it for me, and I'm like, tell me the truth. My biggest person
taste
tell me the truth.
testers. So have some taste testers near you. Okay.
My daughter is my taste tester, and if it's nasty, she's gonna tell you. Mama, this ain't it. What is this? Her face was said before her mouth will. So I'm like, yeah, let me go retry that or something like that. Or my mom. My mom doesn't like anything. So when she was like, yeah, Sabrina.
Oh, so she's like probably the best person.
Yeah,
she doesn't
like anything. And then she's like, lately, for the past couple years, she's like, oh yeah. She don't want to admit it. I'm like, I see you, girl. I see you like
come to the other side. You know you like it.
Yeah, so my mom and my daughter. But my daughter, she would tell you like, Ma, go do that again. But yeah.
Nice. Well, I want to personally just say thank you for coming on the show and being an amazing guest star. And I thank you for just being you. I know we're talking about ingredients and flavors, but, I just want us to, just take this moment to just celebrate you. I thank you for being, a risk taker. The fact that you believed in your dreams when other people did, that is not easy. I notice that there are so many sayings out here now, I believe in dreams and that. But it's when you're really about that life, but you do it so humbly you, and you do it with such grace and poise, I appreciate that. Also appreciate how you're a risk taker. A lot of people try to say no, sis. If you know Sabrina, you know. A lot of people try to cast her off, and it's do you not see the light and the gold and the talent and this extraordinary multi-dimensional woman queen?
Thank you.
And another ingredient that I feel you just radiate is just, I like to call it love mirror. I feel that the love that God really has in and through you, you show it so well, even to people who may have hurt or harm you. Now you're giving them that peace back. You're giving them healing back. You're going even harder for your daughter, and it's okay, maybe I didn't get that. I'm not even gonna have bitterness. I'm gonna just overpour, and I'm gonna shower you, and I'm gonna make sure that you get what I didn't get. And then I ain't gonna just stop with my daughter. I'm even gonna do it for the community. Baby, attention to detail, because you could be a basic baker, okay, and make residual, no shade. But I've seen some very basic bakers who they do good, but like they making residuals. But you literally are taking the time and you make it so fun, and it takes time. So the fact that you're pouring all of this attention to detail, sacrifice, sis, we want to say thank you. But we're not done. On behalf of Only in the Shy, we want to give you your flowers, sis, because you are so amazing. And so we don't want to wait till you blow up on Food Network. Right there, babe? Yes, ma'am. We don't want to wait till Food Network. We knew her before you knew her, okay? So, yes. So we just want to say thank you. Yes.
Oh, my goodness. So pretty.
Right, baby. They real. Go ahead.
They real. They real, y'all.
They real.
Thank you.
So before we close out, seeing all of the flowers in your bouquet, who would you like to dedicate a flower to? And feel free to like look at them in the camera, but like who would you like to dedicate a flower to? What's that special message you would like to share with them in this moment? No pressure.
My mom. It's been a long journey with me and her. We've had our ups and downs, but my mom, no matter what, has always supported me. She was like, yeah, you know, she had her doubts at first, but you know, Mom, this is for you. For just loving me, being there for me, you know, passing out cards at your job, you know, just loving me unconditionally and not allowing me to give up. You've shared stories with me, and to watch me go through this journey and be there for me, I love you, and I'm dedicating this to you. I love you too. I love you.
All right, y'all. Well, there we have it, okay? I told you she was going to be those 3 F's, okay? Fierce, check. Clock that, okay? Flavorful, check. Clock that, okay? And then we got fun. Clock, clock, clock. All right, so make sure y'all go ahead and get them snacks, okay? Get them sweets, but come back because Sabrina is about to take over the Shy Light, all right? Well, thank you for tuning in. I am your host, Marlisa.
And I'm Sabrina. And thank you for having me.
All right, we're out. Toodles.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sabrina, aka your favorite girl baker. So in my little segment that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you how I use baking therapy. So look, we got all our ingredients. We got our baking powder, we got our sugar, we got our flour, got our baking soda, main ingredient, vanilla extract, and we got our toppings. So how I like to do my baking and how I like to use that incorporated into baking therapy, we're gonna take all of our ingredients, right? We're gonna put all of these ingredients into this bucket, and once it's in there, we're gonna mix it up. So how I use that for therapy is when you come to the therapist, you dumping all your trauma, your issues, your chaos onto the therapist, right? Same way with baking. Once you got all of your ingredients inside of there, we're gonna put it into the oven. So once you get into the oven, when you're in your therapy process, you are processing with the therapist of your traumas, your childhood issues, your family issues, medical issues, whatever, and we're processing together. We're gonna heat up. You're gonna transform from being this muddy mess, this pile of mess, into a form of a shape of a cupcake. Voila. So we have our cupcake, right? And then once you come out the oven, you're gonna let it cool off, right? So we cooling off. This is why God allows us to stay still, right? We are coming out of the oven, we're sitting alone, we're waiting for it to be icing. So once you're in your therapy sessions, and you're about to be let go out of therapy, we're gonna take our icing, and the therapist is going to give you words of wisdom, coping styles, coping mechanisms, so you can take along your journey, right? And she's throwing all into you. And then we're gonna use our pearls of wisdom, right? And these pearls of wisdom is journaling, meditating, doing yoga, sitting still with yourself, exercising. And those little pearls of wisdom you're gonna take with you on your journey of life, because you went through all those stages of therapy. You came in, you put all your worries and cast it to God, to the therapist. And then you went into the oven, you went through that transformation process. And then the therapist gave you these techniques and these coping skills, and then stuff to take home with you, right? That's the same way with baking. So we have our vanilla cupcake with a buttercream frosting, and we topped it off. And then I do have some more toppings in the spirit of spring, right? We have our toppings. This is my way of saying how God gives us overflow, right? So the overflow is more blessings. More blessings that you didn't even ask for, right? You're like, God, why do you keep giving me this stuff? This is more blessings that God is giving you. You didn't ask for it. You know, the therapist didn't give it to you, but God, seeing the work that you went through with therapy, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna bless you abundantly more than you can ask for. So, and that's how you're gonna look. You went from a pile of just ingredients into a form of a cupcake. So, let's bake it with your favorite girl, Bake It, aka Sabrina. And I hope you take this time to allow your journey to be your journey. You're gonna be a mess. I was a mess, but God transformed me and molded me and shaped me until who I needed to be as a person, as a baker. So, thank you. So, where you can follow me are, make sure you follow me on every social media. I have Facebook, Goddess Cupcakes, my little cards. I have Instagram, the_Goddess_Cupcakes, THEE, Goddess_Cupcakes. Follow me on all my TikTokers, Goddess Cupcakes 1. Make sure you follow me on there. Make sure you check me out on my website, goddesscupcakes.com. Please, all your questions, your answers, the pictures you want to see, right on there. Yeah. So these are my little cards. It's supposed to be a little picture of me. Make sure you follow me, keep in touch. You can reach out to me, goddesscupcakes25@gmail.com for your questions, your baking questions, life questions. I'm open for it all. Thank you.
I know she was something sweet and something nice. I told y'all she was going to come through. So make sure y'all stay tuned in into all of our social media platforms. You can find us on Instagram at OnlyInTheShy1. You can also follow us on YouTube at OnlyInTheShy. And also, the Lord be Lordin', okay? He got us on Spotify at OnlyInTheShy. Now, there are some people that participated in our photo challenge of episode 5. And I already said we're going to do that big shout out. So here we go. None other than, drum roll please, we're going to shout out my grandmother, the amazing Myrtle. We are shouting out good sis Bernice. We are also shouting out cousin Radia. We're shouting out Nifisha. And we are also shouting out Untune. So to these beautiful village keepers, make sure you stay tuned at the end of the episode. Now, village, as always, until we meet again, continue to water your gardens of passion, purpose, and transform pain. Because that is what lies the unlimited possibilities. We are out.
Begins at 54 years old to write this cookbook that will become a treasure. And she writes about the classics of African American cuisine: peach cobbler, green tomato preserves, blackberry spirits, sweet potato pie, chow chow, baked salsify, plus a lifetime's worth of cake recipes. That's what Melinda Russell is serving up.